Hey everyone, it's Rich Bennett. Can you believe it? The show is turning 10 this year. I am so grateful for each and every one of you who've tuned in, shared an episode, or even joined the conversation over the years. You're the reason that this podcast has grown into what it is today. Together, we've shared laughs, tears, and moments that truly matter. So I want to thank you for being part of this journey. Let's make the next 10 years even better.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow picture
It's probably the least sexy part of organizing. No. The truth is,
So I am joined today by a local artist that is just simply amazing, and has a love for veterans, loves portraits, and strictly oil painting. Well, no, I don't want to say strictly oil painting because you're doing the class. A little bit of watercolor. So we have Pamela Wilde on. Actually, I'm just going to start there. Why is oil your favorite?
It's actually a very forgiving medium. So if something doesn't work out, you can wipe it right off. I'm still learning.
You can't do that with watercolors?
Watercolor is a difficult medium.
Really?
Once you put it down, you can't scrub it back out, but you work opposite of an oil painting too.
Okay.
So you have to protect your whites in watercolor because you don't have white paint in watercolor. You only have the white surface of the paint. So if you cover that white surface with color, you're never going to get back to that true white again. Unless you put an opaque paint on it, then it's not really considered watercolor anymore. They have a lot of rules in watercolor.
See, it's weird because when you paint your house, the inside of your house, you're always told to use water-based paint instead of oil because it's easier. I thought they said because it's easier to clean. Or maybe oil is easier to clean, but you can't get rid of the oil paint.
Oil paint, though, even if you can use oil paint on I have oil paint like I painted outdoor furniture with.
Right.
That I painted 30 years ago and it still looks brand new, whereas I would have to repaint it if it was a lifetime.
If it was water, okay.
So oil-based paint is much more durable.
Lasts longer.
Yeah, these are going to look 100 years from now are going to look the same. So here's the thing I did when I did the portraits of Havre de Grace. I invited people to come sit for me for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to figure out a way to just cover my materials. So the deal is I actually got people to pay me $50 to come sit for me for 3 hours.
Wow.
In return, there was no obligation to buy the painting because I understand portraits, either you love them or you hate them.
Right.
A lot of people are like, oh, I don't look that way. That's fine. They weren't commissioned portraits. They were painted to my satisfaction, not their satisfaction. But in return for participating, I promised them all a print at the opening reception. So they all got prints of the paintings.
Okay.
And I think for a lot of people, non-artists, they don't know the difference between a print and an original.
Right.
Whereas the prints are going to fade over time.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to end up in the dump.
You can't. I don't want to touch it.
You can touch it. Okay. It's varnished.
I was going to say, because of the print, you're not going to feel
you're not
like you do the oil.
Yeah, you're not going to see the brushwork in it.
Okay.
Prints are maybe good for 10 years before they start falling apart. And the thing is, too, like I had them all framed and stuff. When you buy a print and you say you want to frame it, you're going to spend just as much framing it as you did
expensive,
as the original. I was like, buy the original.
All right, so those people that are listening. Now, whose picture am I hanging up?
Pardon me?
Whose picture am I hanging up right now? This is
Bill Martin.
Bill Martin,
yep.
The mayor of Havre de Grace,
yes.
Right? Okay. All right, so how long did it take to do this?
So they had to come in and sit for me for 3 hours.
Right.
And I would get the paintings. I wish I could finish them in 3 hours, but
I was going to say, I
got a good start on them. And then I shot photo references while they were with me.
Okay.
And then I would go home and tighten them up. There was one young man in the show. I painted 4 children from the same family.
Oh, wow.
And that was hilarious because it was a 6-year-old, an 8-year-old, a 13, 14-year-old. And I painted the little girl first, and she was hilarious. Just a funny little girl and fearless. And she sat for me, and I was saying, I asked her, I said, how did you get to be the first one in your family to be painted? She goes, oh, we were all fighting and Mom made us flip a coin and I won. And her mother came in to drop her off and she brought all the siblings with her. And she hops in the chair and she's telling her mom to leave the gallery and her brothers and sisters, come back in 3 hours when we're done. You can go now, Mom. I'm fine. But I painted her and her painting came along fine. And I taught the references and finished up. When I painted her 13-year-old brother, he sat for me. And same thing, Mom took him off and everyone left. And about an hour and a half into the painting, something just gelled on my canvas. I put a brush stroke down. I went, holy cow, I got him. Stop. And I forget his name, but I said, I'll call him Jason just for example. Jason, call your mom. I think we're done. He's like, what do you mean we're done? It's supposed to be a 3-hour session. We can't be done. He didn't want to go home. And I said, no, I don't want to mess it because you can take a painting too far and ruin it.
Right.
It's trying to trust that little voice in your head. Trust my gut instincts. I'm done. I said, no,
with
call your mom.
Brushstroke.
Well, it wasn't one brush. I mean, I had been working for an hour and a half on the painting.
Okay.
But something in that hour
that
and a half.
That one stroke that you hit.
I got him. I said, call your mom. So he calls his mom. She comes in. She walks around the easel, looks at the painting, and she starts to cry.
Wow.
Yes. I trusted that little voice in my head. And I asked her what touched her about it. She said, he's at that age where he's turning into a teenager. Mm-hmm. But he's still my little boy, like.
Oh, wow.
And I pulled a heartstring that day, and it felt good. And I trusted my gut instinct, and I knew when to stop. So he's probably one of the few that got done in an hour and a half.
Wow! All right, so they sit down for 3 hours, and then how much longer afterwards?
So I would generally take him home that evening, and probably another 8 to 10 hours into him.
Holy cow! So almost 13 hours for one portrait.
Mm-hmm. And I was doing 3 or 4 of them a week.
Whoa! And you did how many that year?
120.
120.
Yeah. It was a great year. I learned so much that year. And not only did I learn more about painting, but I learned about people. I was thinking about your conversations. I got to have conversations with people I would have never met.
You learned a lot too, don't you?
And it was amazing. And I got to meet them on my terms from behind the easel. So,
damn, Pam, that sounds like a podcast. Behind the easel.
Behind the easel.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, so how long have you actually been painting? Let me rephrase that. How long have you been doing portraits?
It's funny. I did my first self-portrait when I was 14. And I have it at home. I've done self-portraits like most of my life. So my first one was at 14. I started painting when I was about 12. So that's a long story too. My mother had been an artist. And I remember it was August of 1975. And I was bored out of my skull. And I convinced my mom to buy this little oil painting kit for me.
Yeah.
It came with a 12 by 16 panel, little tubes of paint, some brushes. And she bought it for me. I got home and I had never painted before. And my mother just left me on my own. She went back in the house. So I sat down in front of my house and I started sketching out the house and the paints. And I got the front door drawn in and the garden, this and that. But when it actually came time to paint, I didn't know what the hell to do. And I was like getting ready to flip it into the woods. And my mother must have sensed my frustration. She came outside. She sat down next to me. She grabbed the palette knife. She grabbed some paint. She showed me how to mix a beautiful green. Then she took the palette knife and she showed me how to paint the ivy on the house using paint. And got me started. And then she went back in the house and I finished that painting by myself. But her hand is in it. My hand is in it. And I still have that painting. Good. And the sad thing is, about 2 months later, she passed away.
After that painting?
And right inside that front door.
Wow.
So I still have that painting. That's probably the most valuable painting I own.
Right.
It's unsigned, but it's my mother and me.
Priceless.
And And I told my husband, if the house is ever on fire, leave all the other paintings, just get that one. Get it out. But so I still go back to that painting and think about that lesson she gave me. So
you mentioned something. You said you sketched it out first. Is that normal?
I'm using paint. Yeah.
Oh, you sketched it out with paint. Yeah. Okay, I thought you meant you drew it out.
Yeah. Well, some artists draw out their paintings on canvas.
On the canvas.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend.
I thought you meant like you drew it on a piece of paper, and then you were
I had the canvas, and I dipped the brush in a little bit of paint, and I was sort of sketching out the front door and figuring out where everything was.
Can you tell I don't paint?
But some people draw out their paintings in like pastel pencils and this and that.
I've always been amazed by, I mean, I used to love drawing. That's about it. Now I can't even draw a stick man. But I used to love, my father got into oil painting, and I still got some of his paintings. Of course, he loved Bob Ross.
Nothing wrong
Who
with
doesn't?
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob was a great
Oh,
inspiration for
yeah.
many.
That's how my father learned.
It's wonderful.
And of course, he loved doing the nautical stuff.
Okay.
And I have all that. But he just now. Did you go to school too for art?
So I went to the American Academy of Art in Chicago. I graduated from there in 1983.
Okay.
With a degree. So when I wanted to go to art school, I really wanted to go to the Art Institute of Chicago.
Okay.
And I probably didn't have the grades for it. And then my dad was like, no, if you're going to go to art school, American Academy of Art was more of a commercial art school.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the 80s, they weren't really teaching drawing and fundamentals over at the Art Institute,
Okay.
American Academy of Art was very, was commercial art. So I was learning commercial art design, logo design, but also part of my curriculum was as I had life drawing every day, which is really valuable to learn how to draw. We had live naked models every day.
Oh.
3 hours.
A model had to sit there naked for 3 hours?
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
They got paid well.
I would hope so. Holy cow.
There's professional models who, hey, they offer a very valuable service to artists. You learn your anatomy, and it's
yeah, but still to sit there for 3 hours. Well, yeah.
Well, they take a break
okay.
You give them breaks every 20, 25 minutes. They take a break.
I hope they weren't doing that in the wintertime. Oh my God, imagine if the heat broke. Oh.
They kept the studio warm enough.
Yeah, but if that heat broke, it wouldn't be warm enough. I'd be, nope, not for me. Not for me.
So that was good training. I got very good training at the American Academy of Art. And I did commercial illustration for a while when I got out of school. And
right.
Worked for a newspaper out in Washington State. So.
Wait, you worked for a newspaper as an artist or as a writer?
I worked in their composing room. No, I worked in the composing room doing keyline paste up and doing all the ads. And then I got in good with the editorial department. They found out I also painted. So then I started doing illustrations for the paper, which was great. They would give me the copy of a story and say, come up with some ideas and then make some art.
Oh, wow.
That was fun.
I'm surprised you didn't become like a children's illustrator for books or something. Well, it's a different type of art, though.
It is a different. Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
All right, so when you went to school for art, do you also learn like the history?
We were all studio.
Really?
I didn't get a lot of art history, so that's probably where I'm trying to catch up now.
Okay. Because, I mean, I was talking to somebody and they were talking about the history of oil paints and how it came about. And
starts with the caveman in the cave.
Well, yeah, the clay and all that or whatever. So besides that first painting, and I know there can't be just one, but what are some of the most memorable paintings that you've done? Not necessarily portraits, but paintings that you've done that really just, it's one you would have a hard time getting rid of.
Oh, I did a few during COVID, which was interesting.
Oh, probably you didn't have nothing else to do.
So I was really lonely during COVID and I couldn't have them. Well, I did hire a model to come and sit for me during COVID, but that's another story. But I bought myself a mannequin and I dressed it up. And so my mother was Lithuanian.
That's a hell of an idea, though.
So I have this beautiful Lithuanian dress costume that that's a long story, but it was my mother's, and I have it. So I dressed up this mannequin with this beautiful dance costume, and I painted the fabric dress, and it represents my heritage and my grandmother and the women who came before me, and sort of my tribute to them. And that's not for sale. I've shown it in a few shows, but it's not for sale. I almost sold it. It got into a show, a figurative show up at the they do a beautiful figurative show up in Pennsylvania, and it got accepted. And I went up there, and I did have a price tag on it. I'd never shown it. And the dean of their international studies program came up to me, like within 5 minutes of the show opening, and said, "How much?" And I went, I was like a deer in the headlight because I was like, oh no, you don't know. And I think he kind of sensed I didn't want to let it go.
Right. Wow.
So, and then after that, I said, I can't put a price tag on that one.
Yeah.
I'll paint it again, maybe for somebody if they want. I wouldn't mind doing a whole series of like ethnic paintings with beautiful from other heritages. That would be pretty.
And speaking of series, because you have the portrait series here, which was, make sure I get it right, 120 portraits in a year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now I'm going to challenge you. You got to do 120 in 120 days. No, I'm joking. God, no. You would kill me. So was this the toughest one you've done so far as a series?
Yeah, this was probably my most ambitious project I've ever taken on. Not just the painting part of it, business part of it, trying to organize it. I was a one-man band.
Right.
So those are some of the people.
It has the website too. Yay! And now, are all these on your website?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
They're all on the website. And so they showed it gallery, or there was Artist Emporium at the time, and then they went down to the World Trade Center in Baltimore and were shown. And then COVID hit, so they were shown online through the Maryland Hall down in Annapolis.
Oh.
So, and that was that.
Oh, you just gave me an idea. Okay, so I love this idea. This is awesome. Tell everybody, for those of you listening that can't see, I'm holding up a portrait of a pair of combat boots. Actually, the desert boots. That Pam painted. Explain to everybody what this is and why you're doing this.
Okay, so I started I found that I do better if I work in a series. So I started another project called Boots on the Ground, and I've been painting combat boots. And with each time I paint them, there's like another story that comes up, whether it's from my own experience of being a veteran's wife, and I think about my husband's service and all those who have served alongside him, and they tell a story all by themselves. So I've done about 7 combat boot paintings, and I've kind of taken a pause because I would like to show them before I commit to doing too many more. But
have you thought about the Naval Academy displaying them down there?
Do I have to reach out to? Do they even have?
Well, they have a nice museum down there. I'm thinking I'm thinking the ones close by. You have the Naval Academy, and you have the Marine Corps Museum, which I think is in Quantico. Actually, well, no, that's right, because the Marine Corps Museum in Quantico.
I've been there too.
The APG doesn't have the museum anymore, do they?
No, they got rid of it.
Does Fort Meade have some? I don't know. Those of you listening, if you could think of any place, I know it's going to be kind of hard to do before Memorial Day.
Yeah, it doesn't even have to be Memorial Day.
Yeah, I mean, you have Veterans Day coming up.
Yep.
You have 4th of July. The thing is, when it comes to stuff like this, it could be anytime. And oh man, I when you brought that in, I was just floored. I love it. I think it's a great idea. And especially when I guess, so if somebody, let's say a veteran brings you their boots for you to paint, are you going to interview them as well? They get a story behind the boots?
If you're a podcast host or someone wanting to be interviewed on podcasts as a guest, visit podmatch.com. Podmatch automatically connects ideal podcast guests and hosts together for interviews. We always say it works just like a dating app, but instead of connecting you for dates, it connects you for podcast interviews. Podmatch has connected over 85,000 guests and hosts together for interviews that listeners love, all while saving you countless hours of administrative work through built-in automations. If you're ready to level up your podcast interviews on either side of the mic, start today by visiting podmatch.com.
I mean, it's not necessary.
Not necessary.
Right now, I've been just working from 2 different pairs of boots. And it's interesting. I'm sure they have their own stories.
Right.
But I haven't been asking them.
Okay. Well, and some of them may not want to share either.
Yeah, and I want to kind of keep it an open narrative, so it doesn't matter that these are my husband's boots. Anybody can put their feet into those boots. Everybody's got their own story. Anybody who's slid those boots on, I'm sure they have stories.
Yeah, because when I see them, the first thing I think of is the desert, of course, because, I mean, they are the desert boots. Now, I mean, I've only worn the desert boots when we were out for training in the Mojave. That's it. But we wore the jungle boots more, which are the green and black ones. And even the boots have changed throughout the years. But yeah, now, and you're looking for boots still, right?
I'd consider doing some more.
Okay. So if, let's say, a veteran has a pair, or active, has a pair of boots, and they're willing to give them to you, let you borrow them, whatever, how do they contact you?
Go to my website, and there's a way to contact me, and there's my emails up there.
Okay.
Shoot me an email, and we'll start the conversation.
All right, so what's the next big thing after this?
What's the next big thing after this?
I love that. I mean, I can see this being displayed. I'm sure, not this, all of them, because it's a whole show, technically, right? What do they call that? When it goes into the gallery, like with those portraits, is it considered a show?
Exhibition.
Exhibition, thank you. Again, I'm not an artist. Exhibition. But I could see this really going around the world.
Thank you.
I'm serious, because you look at all the military bases around.
I know, and I could make a full-time living just painting boots. I have to take a break every once in a while now. I told my husband too. I said, maybe I didn't put out a public call for boots, because then I started to think, wait a minute, people start shipping me their boots, and then my house is going to get filled up with all these stinky old boots.
I was just going to say, if they didn't clean them, it's like, oh God.
Man, what did I get myself into?
That could be an interesting one too, the covers. The hats, because every branch had so many different covers that they wore. You know, you had your different dress uniforms, you had the helmets, you had the regular covers, you had your boonie cover. Yeah. Oh man.
It's funny. I have one painting, it's a bigger format of the boots, and I had put them on an American flag. And I've seen people use the American flag, and they put baseballs and baseball bats and this and that on them. And I had started the painting and blocked it in, and I shared it on Facebook, and somebody sends me a note about how disrespectful I am to the flag. How dare you put a pair of dirty boots on the flag?
What?
And I'm like, and then I checked up the flag code, but honestly, technically, it isn't wrong. And it's wrong to put a baseball on it. And it's wrong to put a baseball bat and a helmet. No. And I've seen many artists win awards from those paintings. And I'm like, and I reached out to them. I said, have you ever taken any flack for that? And well, no. I said, well, so I was early into the painting. I was either going to scrub it off and just scrap it. And then I thought to myself, how do I get around this issue?
Ignore it. Was it one person?
I made the boots float.
Mm-hmm.
They're floating above the flag. They're not actually touching the flag. And that's how I got around it. And to me, that was almost even more significant.
Wow.
They float.
Wow.
Technically, they're not touching the flag.
That adds whole new meaning to it.
It did, but if they hadn't called me out and made me really stop and think, and I'm like, I don't want to disrespect the flag. Maybe they're right. So how do I get around that?
Wow. Is that painting? You still have that painting?
Yep, that's part of this collection. It's a bigger painting. It's a 20 by 30.
But you sell the paintings online as well, right?
Okay. It's up online.
God, I got.
Did I give you goosebumps?
Yeah, you did.
Right on.
You did. It's weird because I mean, I don't know if you ever seen a military funeral.
Yeah.
The person when they fold the flag and everything, and it's just when you mentioned with those boots just floating there, he is
rising up,
going to, as we say, going to guard the pearly gates. Wow.
And that's the flag I used. My husband was doing funeral out of funeral duty
But
after 9/11. So we have some of those casket flags. And that's what I used, a casket flag for the still life. And the difference between a casket flag is, yes, they're much bigger, but they're made in a way that you can kind of shape them and get the folds you want out of them. So it was really great to work with as far as for my still life.
Yeah, you get
to
these
get the
nice
folds I
crisp
wanted.
lines on them. Yeah, wow. Holy cow. So when you're painting, I mean, that just sends goosebumps up me. But when you're painting these, especially with the stuff with the veterans, God, you haven't done any first responders yet, have you?
No.
Okay, good. But I mean, there's got to be emotional times.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So the series of veterans that I just painted, that was a whole.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, that was interesting too.
And what made you decide to do that?
So that started out, I applied to the Maryland State Arts. The Havre de Grace Arts Collective was opening up their gallery in Havre de Grace. And I like to host open studios and hire models and have people come paint with me. And I presented with them. I said, hey, I'll host open studios for you and hire models, and I'll show up and do this. And I applied to the Maryland State Arts Council to help support it. So they gave me a little bit of grant money to help pay for the models. And I could have hired anybody to be my model. So then I said, well, who do I want to paint and what do I want to say? And I said, I already knew a few veterans who were also artists themselves.
Yeah.
Artists are always looking for opportunities to show their work and get into galleries. So I'm going to paint veterans who are artists themselves to help not only myself promote my art, but to promote their art. And one by one, I had them come in, and they're all amazingly talented veterans. From different branches of service, different ranks.
Live in different places too, right?
Different art forms. Most of them were locally.
Were from here? Okay.
From Maryland. I think my furthest one was from York, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And they all came and sat for me for the group of us, and that's how I started those paintings. So I sort of took that little pot of money and kind of grew it into something bigger.
Now.
And they all got paid to sit, so they got the model fee. So I'm like, don't complain, you're a paid model.
Where was that displayed at? Because you just it's still going on, right?
It went to Gallery 220. It showed it for a day up in York, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Then it went to Gallery 220 over the last Veterans Day.
Okay.
And then it just returned from BWI.
That's what it was, BWI.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have gotten that show if I hadn't painted the veterans, which is it's amazing to hear how things kind of spider out. One of the veterans.
Networking. That's what it is. That's basically what you were doing.
I was doing. So
and then you probably didn't even realize
Michael Hamilton's a wonderful sculptor. I painted him, and he also volunteers hours at Manor Mill Gallery. He drives their shuttle bus for them when their parking lot's overfilled. And he was there for a Baltimore Businessmen's Association meeting one night, and he goes, I was driving this guy back to his car, and he looked like he didn't have a friend in the world. And I just started talking to him about your project that you were doing and how you had painted me and this and that. And it turned out part of his job was getting artwork in for BWI.
Wow.
And he goes, here's my card. Have her call me tomorrow. So that's what got us into BWI.
How many pieces were hanging there?
The 10 portraits were there, and then there was probably 4 to 5 pieces from each veteran in the show.
And how long was it there for? A month or two?
I was there for like 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, they gave us a very nice show. Just wonderful to work with.
Now, do you know if any portraits were sold from that? Yet?
No.
Not yet.
My portraits really aren't for sale. The veterans' portraits. I mean,
no, I meant the art from the other veterans.
I would have to ask them.
Oh, yeah.
So they were in charge of their own sales.
Wow.
And then it's going to go. So it's home right now, and it's scheduled to go to the Columbia Art Center in Howard County in November for Veterans Day. So we're doing our last group show together. So wait
a minute. I want to say it's your last group show together.
Well, I'm going to retire.
What if they call you from D.C. and say,
I'll bring the portraits down? Yeah, we'll be there.
We saw what you did. Next thing you know, Los Angeles.
National Portrait Gallery, yeah.
Is that where that is? Oh, I was just taking a stab at that. I don't know. I mean, all right. So where's the furthest you've gone for exhibition so far for your stuff?
I'm generally have been staying pretty local.
Okay.
Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware.
Oh, your stuff's so good. I mean, I can see it in New
local.
York and DC and everywhere else. And for those, and no, I'm not just saying that. Those of you listening, again, if you go to Pamela Wilde, it's E on the end of Wilde because she's extraordinary. Do you like that? .com. You'll understand why. I mean, the art is that damn good. Actually, what was one of the hardest pieces for you to do? Portrait-wise.
Portraits? Who's the hardest person to... Usually it's family. I'm painting my daughter right now. You can never make your family happy.
Right. Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to do that either. That would be hard.
Yeah, because you get all this emotional
history. You're worried that are they going to like it or not?
It's almost easier for me to sit down with somebody that I don't really know and look at them objectively. Whereas family, it's a little different.
So you're doing the boots now. You've done, actually, what would you even call this one? The 120 portraits.
That was Portraits of Havre de Grace.
Portraits of Havre de Grace. You've done the veteran portraits. Oh.
What?
Right.
Be thinking.
I don't want to give you more work. What other kind of portraits, like a series, do you want to do? Whether it be portraits or, like the boots or something.
I do love painting portraits and meeting the people I paint. It's funny. I just went to the Portrait Society of America conferences and hung out with my people. And it's about making connections with people. There's something, I never get bored painting faces.
I got a suggestion for you. Just saying. I mean, I don't think, as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it's never been done. But portraits of Santa Clauses.
Oh, my God.
She's laughing at me.
That would be great.
I mean, there's a lot of us that play Santa Claus. I'm just saying. And
there are professional Santa Clauses out there. I know.
So those of you that have been listening to the podcast, and even those of you that have recorded with me in person where we normally record, know that there's something up with the building where we record at. And just to let you know what happened is, I don't know why, but as soon as I mentioned the stuff about Santa Claus, it's like everything just went haywire. All of a sudden, the camera stopped working. The digital mixer that I used to record the audio part, I looked down, it was stuck on 10 minutes, yet we were recording for about 45 minutes. Now, there is an old mailbox in that building that we used for Santa Claus letters. I'm wondering if maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But the weird thing is, the battery drained on the camera, which had the recording on it. The mixer, where I normally record, for some reason, there was nothing there. Not a thing. I get home, and the camera's still fully charged. Kind of weird. So, to make a long story short, I had to have Pamela come back so we could record again or finish this, and she brought her husband with her this time. Did I tell you what actually happened?
I have no idea what happened.
All right, so...
You had video going, too.
Right, and we were recording on this and the video, and then all of a sudden the video went out, and the battery is dead. But when I got home, it powered right up. It was showing 10 minutes on here. So when I took out the memory card, put it in my computer, there was nothing on there. Nothing whatsoever.
So where did you get the audio from the last?
From the video.
Okay.
But I was able to get the video part, which had the audio, and then that cut out into like 40 some minutes.
Okay.
The battery went dead. Something drained the battery. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And because it's weird that when I get home, the thing powered right up. So don't be messing with us today. Wendy freaked out. The one day we were in here recording, and we had a medium in with us, and we didn't know she was a medium. And the TV, usually the TV will just go, the TV clicked on, was on for a bit, and then went right off. Wendy freaked out, my co-host. It's like, well, probably my brother messing with us. We've had, I've had 5 different people in here that I didn't know were mediums, said that they keep feeling a presence back there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, makes sense if all the members that we used to have here in the club.
Reminds me of a story. We went out years ago. We were up in the Finger Lakes, New York, and we were driving down the road, and we saw this little tiny sign next to the road pointing into a cemetery, basically like out in the woods. So we pulled off and we went back and we found the little trail that went out to the cemetery. And it was an old abandoned cemetery. And we're walking around checking out the old gravestones and stuff. And then I see another path going further into the woods. My husband and the kids are running around that part of the cemetery. I say, hey, I'm going down here. And I found a children's cemetery down there. It was all children's graves.
Oh, God.
And it was from back in the polio days. People would leave New York City and go out to the Finger Lakes hoping to protect their children. Of course, we have the cemetery there of all these children that passed away. But out here in the middle of this abandoned, old cemetery in the woods is a tree fort someone had built in the children's cemetery. So I'm walking around with my camera taking lots of pictures and pictures of the old graves and this and that. And at one point I go to it was a digital camera, go to turn my camera off and it won't turn off.
Drain the energy.
It won't. I could feel the battery heating up inside the camera.
Wow.
Like it's getting ready to explode. And I'm like, what the heck? And I popped the battery out before it would.
Yeah.
And I looked at my husband. I said, I think we've been invited to leave. We got to go. They've had enough. They're letting us know. Get out.
Now, what were you? It
was time to go.
Now, how are you? You're like, no, let's go up in the fort and play with them.
Oh, no, I've done not exactly paranormal research, but
Right.
I've researched a lot of the historically spooky areas around Chicago. And we have an area that's not far from where we grew up called Bachelor's Grove. It's known as the most haunted place in the world.
Really?
It's a cemetery. The last person was interred there in the 70s. A special needs grown-up child was interred with his parents. But it was originally a private cemetery that was acquired by Cook County, who promptly bought the property, developed part of it into a forest preserve rec area, and completely ignored this little postage stamp-sized cemetery. So as the 60s and 70s progressed, nature took it back. People made an effort to keep it trimmed and stuff.
Right.
People go out there
The
and party,
Satanists got in there.
Yeah.
Corpses were extracted. A murder occurred there. It's
an evil
totally
place.
Violated. And the paranormal manifestations in that area are 100-fold. And mixed in with the urban legends, too.
Right.
But one of the reasons why some of the serious paranormal researchers continue to study this place, it's adjacent to this massive electrical transformer relay station. Where it's like the electricity comes from somewhere in western Chicago. It's relayed to southern Cook County. And this thing is about, a city block in size. But it's back where no one sees it. And they think that the manifestations are in part powered by the fact that this generates so much electrical power. And,
Interesting.
And that's why the spooks a million.
But over the years, and I don't really kind of subscribe to the whole.
One of our dates, I took her there.
We've gone there back in our dating years.
Weird.
But also over the years, every time he'd go back to Chicago, he'd always pick up his little disposable camera and go out there and take pictures looking for the orbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would just sort of roll my eyes like, whatever. We get all the pictures back. Mm-hmm. But then the one time he went there by himself a couple years ago, you can tell the story. He didn't bring a camera.
Oh, I had my encounter with a manifestation, which we think is a demon.
Oh, not nice.
Who is called the tall man or the dark
shadow man.
The shadow man. But to access this cemetery, It's a very long, it used to be a highway. It has since degraded into a pathway with erosion and concrete being chipped away. You used to be able to drive up to the cemetery. Well, I'm back there without a camera, and I look around. Okay, the spirits are not active today. Some signs of vandalism, but I'm walking back, and I'm looking up this road, and there's this one stretch of road called the Midlothian Turnpike. Well, I am on the pathway coming up this way. Here's the Midlothian Turnpike, and seeing cars whiz by back there, and I happen to see what looked to be like a jagged figure, recognizable as somewhat human, but like a rent in the atmosphere, black. And I'm looking up the highway, and I'm feeling creepy. Here's our figure. Here's the Midlothian Turnpike. Car comes. It disappears behind the figure, and then I see it go the other way around, past. I mean, there was something there.
Wow.
And it didn't have any feet.
And
it was like floating.
Yeah, it was about scale 14 inches above the ground. And then I thought, oh, what if he's got buddies? And I look over my shoulder.
You're not sure what you're seeing.
And there's nothing, just Chicago's usual 90-degree heat. And I turn around, he was gone. And I'm like,
time to go. Because you don't know if you're really seeing another human being that's out to do you harm. Like, I'm not afraid of the dead. It's the living that I'm scared of.
Yeah, and I get back to the Forest Preserve area where there's, parking, rec area, people. Mm-hmm. And I just immediately call Pam.
Yeah, he was freaked.
And I just said, I have just seen a ghost.
And you haven't been back there. You are satisfied?
The one time I don't have a camera there. I have not gone back there since.
It's
been confirmed.
I've experienced it a couple times. The first time, it's like you're frozen. It just scares you that much. Then the second time, I was...
Yeah, it's like it took a split second for logic and, the fear meter to spike a little bit. I look over my shoulder, and that's when Spookman left.
I think the neatest thing I ever saw, we went to Harper's Ferry, and it was me, my brother-in-law, maybe my son and somebody else, but we're walking back up to the car through the cemetery there. Only time I've ever seen this. An orb with the naked eye. We seen this orb following us. We're like, this is just too wild. Mm-hmm. It just sounds like a new series you need to do.
No.
Portraits of Spirits.
No. Let's call it plein-air painting over at Bachelor's Grove. I don't think so.
Well, you don't have to go there. There's plenty of places around Harford County, Baltimore County where you can go. I mean, something different. All right, so you mentioned you were taking photos.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back in time because you... with your art, you started when you were, 13?
Probably 12, 13.
12, 13. And before we started recording, you actually mentioned that, or it was your husband that mentioned, you got into photography?
Yeah, I was in high school. I was doing a lot of photography and taking photography classes through our local art center, which was awesome. We had a wonderful art center in our community, so they offered all kinds of art classes, including photography back in the day. And they had a beautiful darkroom there, and I had some good teachers and learned a lot.
Were you thinking about giving up painting or?
No, I was doing them sort of side by side.
Okay.
And then I got into art school after high school, and that was more focused on commercial aspects of art. My father was like, if you're going to go to art school, you're going to learn a trade.
Right.
Because you might need to support yourself. So I went to the American Academy of Art, and they were very focused in commercial art, graphic design, illustration, things like that. They did have a painting program,
right,
which I wish I could have been a part of, but I was tracked towards commercial art. So, but
how do you go from commercial art to portraits? That's a big change, I would think.
So I did. Well, part of my commercial art training was we did a lot of figure drawing. We had life drawing every day. It was part of our training. And then when I got out of school, I worked. We got married shortly thereafter. And then I worked in Arizona for a newspaper doing advertising and this and that. And then we went to Tacoma, Washington, and I worked for a paper up there doing advertising. Then they kind of figured out, oh, she can paint. And so I was doing editorial illustration for them, which was awesome.
Oh, wow.
So they would give me a story a couple weeks out. They say, read this and come up with some ideas. I would come up with some ideas to illustrate the story and get them approved by the editors and go back and make them a piece of art. And they would publish it in the newspaper with the story like a couple weeks later. So I was getting my first bylines. I was pretty proud of that.
Now, all right, so explain, what kind of art would that be for stories? It's sort of like what you see when people are in court, the paintings or whatever? Or
that's courtroom art.
That's an actual, just a separate thing, courtroom art?
Yeah, they have a whole museum for courtroom art.
Oh, get out of here.
Damn, dude. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Courtroom. I've thought about doing that, too. I was going to call Judge Ishik up and see if I can come sit in one of his court here. If they ever get a good case in there, I can sit in the corner.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Courtroom artists, yeah, they make money. There's a lot of courtrooms you can't have, photographers in there, so cameras, they still.
No, but I didn't know that was a type of art.
It's courtroom art, and I think there's a museum somewhere of courtroom art, so you can go see like some of the really good cases and artwork made from them, like the OJ trials.
Oh yeah. So all right, so the stuff you were doing then
was editorial illustration. So they would get stories. I did a story about. I had to illustrate a story about men who were secretly gay but married to women.
Mm-hmm. And you had to paint an illustration.
I had to illustrate that one.
I don't know.
That was interesting.
I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that. Or is it that good where you can't tell?
They're not really doing it anymore. So nowadays everything is either gone over to photography. Right. I mean, come on, artificial intelligence. What do you need an artist for?
True, yeah.
But that's a whole nother story.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, that was probably...
Look, even AI can't get as good as you.
AI is just ripping off data from people and mashing it all together. So it's taking out the human element of art, which is really sad.
Well, yeah, that is true. You're seeing that with a lot of things. I mean, because a lot of people, especially authors, were nervous about it. But you still gotta proofread it because AI even makes mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love it. I use AI a couple days. I was working on a painting. I had this beautiful photograph that I took of this man holding his baby. So I just, out of curiosity, I prompted AI to make me an image of a man holding a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hilarious. I got an image back of a man holding a baby, but the baby's legs were on backwards. And I'm like, ooh.
It is, I gotta admit, it is, at times, it's fun to play with. So what I did, I took the photos of myself and some of my co-hosts and asked it to convert us into babies sitting at a table with microphones. And of course, everybody's cracking up, laughing at it. But sometimes it can be scary looking as well. Now, if I ask AI to give me hair and it can actually give me hair, I'd be happy with that. But I don't think that's going to happen. All right, so in the newspapers you're doing. What's called editorial art,
editorial illustration.
I'm
illustrating stories.
Okay.
And then shortly thereafter, we had to go back to Arizona.
Yeah. Didn't you also? Maybe these were separate incidents, but Pam would do illustrations, or she would model for the illustrations, or do that as a supplement.
Yeah, that way, yeah.
We were actually both. We had a front page.
Oh yeah,
together.
We did some
perfume wars.
back in the day.
What?
Back in the day.
All right, wait, I gotta hear
we were
this.
cute.
You guys had wars going?
No.
It was titled Perfume Wars.
I thought you were battling each other.
We shared, yes. So the photography department at this, it was a fun place to work because very creative people, but every once in a while they say, hey, we need a model to illustrate this stuff. Come on down, we're going to shoot some pictures. And then they had a story coming out about perfume or something. And they're like, the photographer had an idea, but she didn't feel comfortable. Never mind. We used Scott. He came in and he was my second person of the photo shoot.
Yeah, I came in full battle dress, and the group commanders had told me I had asked permission.
Oh, okay.
To appear in the media because I was in a special forces unit. He said you cannot be recognizable as a special forces soldier. So I took the camouflage I made myself I looked like I ethnically converted.
Which really made it hard on the photographer.
And she was so gorgeous and makeup made up and stuff like that. And we were like face to face. And the picture just didn't come out well.
Oh.
And I was wearing the old tin pot.
Well, the problem was
the
that
Kevlars
we
hadn't
learned
come in yet.
about real camouflage is it's light absorbing, so it's really hard for a photographer to take a picture of you. So,
and I did not want Colonel
choice.
Barato coming after me with like, "You're recognizable as Lieutenant
You were
Wilde.
a silhouette.
You screwed up again, Lieutenant."
You were just a silhouette.
Yeah.
Was it and it was the cover?
It was,
or just an
I guess,
ad?
a section front page, like a section B or whatever.
Do you guys still have it?
Yeah, of course. I have all my tear pages.
Pam's modeling portfolio.
Be careful. Come on, that's good stuff.
Well, you got to send it to me then so I can put it in the show notes. Pam's like, not a shot, Rich. Forget it.
Pam looks good. I'm just like a silhouette.
Maybe the illustrations. I'm more proud of the artwork than the modeling.
Well, you did good.
That's wow.
But unfortunately, we had to leave and go back to Arizona for a year or so.
And then we started a family, and then I stayed home with the kids, and Scott ran around and did Army stuff.
And how many kids?
2.
Any of them into art?
Not really, no.
No?
No.
Military, right?
Our son was.
Okay. None of them picked up the art gene from you.
My daughter's more into literary. She likes writing and reading and.
Well, that's art.
Anime.
Yeah.
And the anime.
Big time anime girl.
And I'm glad you explained that, because you talked about the difference between that and the prints, which I had no idea that prints weren't as valuable.
If you can get the original, you always want the original.
Well,
if you can afford it.
I was going to say,
that's where
how many artists actually will sell the original?
Lots of artists. I just
Really?
bought a painting this weekend.
You what?
I bought a painting this weekend, original.
Really?
I'm happy to have it. It's mine.
I didn't realize artists would sell the original, just the prints.
No. Now, once you sell the original, then you can go into selling prints. I would prefer to sell the originals.
Okay, so once you sell the original, you can still sell the prints?
Mm-hmm. Artist always owns copyright to their work. Unless you have a client that comes in and wants to own copyright, then you can write up a separate deal.
How common is that?
For some, like, okay, whoever designed the smiley face, remember the smiley face?
Oh, yeah.
I hope they got copyright deal, because that thing was everywhere.
And people, I mean, look.
And they're still using it.
Yeah, it became emojis.
It's a Mr. Yuck.
You're seeing it on T-shirts all the time.
So if you have a very popular image and you can sell the copyright to it, but you can sell it for probably more than the original, because it's, they're going to print it forever.
So I guess it's the same with just like with music. When you heard, who was it? The Beatles, I think, sold their library.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Michael Jackson bought it.
Okay.
Yes. And wow. Interesting. I didn't know that. I got a trick question for you.
Okay.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions? Because you do oil painting.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions about oil painting that people have?
Misconceptions.
Or myths, yeah.
That it's poisonous and toxic.
It's oil. It is, isn't it?
Only if you eat it.
So you suggest don't let your kids do oil paints, right?
No, actually, there's a lot of artists now who you don't even need turpentine. You can do it without any solvents.
Really?
Yeah. So you can use straight linseed. And then there's a new solvent called Gamsol. It's not really a solvent, but it's probably the safest of all of them. Okay. But even with that, I keep it covered when I'm not using it. It's odorless. I don't do terpenoids or turpentine anymore. It's too poisonous. I can't breathe that stuff in. But other than that, it's pretty safe product.
I'm surprised they haven't made like a plant-based product yet.
It is plant-based.
Oh, it is?
Well, it's basically pigment and linseed oil. Linseed is plant-based.
Linseed is a plant, is it?
Yeah, or walnut oil is the other binder that they use.
Walnut oil?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can use walnut oil. Linseed oil are the two basics that they mix oil paints with.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Did you know all this?
Only what little bit she shared with me.
If my wife was doing this, I saw a bottle of walnut oil, because I think that's like smokeless, I'd be using that on the grill.
Ooh, I don't know. I would think artist grade's pretty good, though.
Oh, there's different grades.
I have noticed
Do
from
they
my hobbies, though, is that there are a lot of very corrosive plant-based solvents. Because I use one in what I do. It's called Goop Off.
Oh, yes.
And it's an extract from a rubber plant.
Really? I didn't know that.
And the stuff, it not only smells nasty, but it will totally corrode polystyrene.
What?
Plastic, hard plastic.
Goof Off does?
Yeah.
It'll melt it.
I didn't know that.
Mm.
Well, wait a minute. It's in a plastic bottle, isn't it?
No.
It's not?
Metal. I know because I buy it by the gallon, and then I download it into a smaller bottle for use in my hobby room. I restore old G.I. Joe figures as sort of a garage
come on.
deal.
No way.
Yeah, I do.
You can give him his own podcast.
I don't want to steal her thunder. But that's
But it
what I
goes
found
hand
out.
in hand with what she does with the boots and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. Wait a
We're
minute.
both very
I'm
creative.
sorry, Pam.
He has his art studio. I have my art studio.
Yeah,
Pam,
we have the house
I got to
cleanly
ask him
divided.
this now, because G.I. Joe figures, I mean,
I knew I shouldn't have mentioned that.
no, that's all right.
Yeah.
How many do you have with the real hair?
Probably about 100.
Oh, come on.
Why, you want one?
Oh, you want to come over for a play date?
Well, no, because those.
I have around 500.
Damn.
He
But
has
the
a
way
huge
I
collection.
support it, and I travel probably 3/4 out of the year to all the major G.I. Joe shows across the country. I'm the only guy in the world that repairs them. Repairs the old talking G.I. Joes. You know,
What?
the ones you pull the string
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Geppetto.
I fix those.
Holy cow. Because the ones with the original hair is worth a lot of money, aren't they?
Oh, yeah.
When did they stop making them? Do you remember?
1975.
With the real hair.
But a movement in the last few years has come up where guys are actually stripping the old hair off, because some of these guys were vandalized. I mean, or lovingly played with a lot.
Yeah, blown up and all that.
And
yeah.
they reflock the heads now. Several of my friends do that as a garage job
Side business.
sideline.
They've figured out a way to put new hair on them.
Wow.
I tried it, but I ended up just flocking just about everything to include my fingers. So
I'll
I
be
gave it
damned.
up.
I did it. That's pretty wild.
Mhm.
How come G.I. Joe and Barbie never hooked up?
Oh, I think they did with a few pervy little boys, but I don't think any children came out as a result of it.
So, all right. So, was he the influence with the boots? The Boots on the Ground series?
Well, possibly, yeah, because, I'm a veteran's wife. And,
Right.
And, yeah, there's a lot of overlap.
So, when are you going to do the G.I. Joes? It's easy for them to. It's easy for them to pose for you.
I've painted a few G.I. Joes, and he's sold those at the show. And he, just like anime art,
Yeah.
my daughter was, I could probably be very successful if I actually tracked towards some of these other areas. But
Yeah, Pam has done several posters that have proven
my
to be very
posters, I've done
popular.
graphic design.
Then there was one time, some of the rarer G.I. Joes, there was a kit called the Sabotage Kit, and another one that showed a full-scale G.I. Joe West Point Cadet. Well, Pam recreated the box art into 2 paintings, and she had consigned these to a corner of the basement. And I'm just like, oh, shoot, I should just take these to the show. Not many people have a complete G.I. Joe West Point Cadet.
Yeah.
Some guy came up and just, boom, $150 each. They were gone.
Take those paintings.
All right. So, you are proof that doing art, you can make it a successful business.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you hear that with a lot of authors and artists that are struggling. They say it's very hard.
Well, it is very hard. And, I just keep working at it. You know what? I don't really feel like I have a choice. If you're an artist, you're an artist. You're going to
Right.
create. What is your barometer of success? Is it all about the bank account, or is it about making the most meaningful work for you, the artist?
Bingo.
And that's why, I'm not running after the anime dollar. I'm not running after the G. I've done some stuff for fun. I've done some
Right.
graphic design for him with the Joes and had fun in Photoshop. Don't let your old soldiers fade away.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what's the secret to, and this is for inspiring artists, what's the secret to getting your name and your work out there?
What's the secret? Perseverance. And I would think if you want to be a professional artist, most artists that I know who are making a professional living, supporting themselves out the art, they are multitasking. They're not just selling paintings off their wall.
Yeah.
They're teaching, they're writing, they're making art blogs,
innovating.
Mm-hmm.
So go into education too, and make art. And learning how to teach and making art go hand in hand because it's important to pass on your knowledge to the next generation. And it's like we're all learning from each other. But I would suggest multitasking. Don't just focus solely on making art. You got to branch out.
And you're teaching as well?
No.
Were you at one point there, like doing classes or whatever?
I take classes. I feel like I'm a lifelong learner. I'm still learning. I've never taught. No. I'm a little hesitant.
Why?
Because I've had teachers that really kind of teaching, especially art. You're not only teaching techniques and stuff, but you have to be very careful of people's. It's easy to hurt people's feelings.
Okay. When you're critiquing their art,
I have gotten crushed by a few teachers.
Yeah.
Literally crushed. Who just tried to stop me out of the system and told me when I was in art school, "You're wasting your time. Go home and marry the boy next door."
Really? And you didn't live next
Mr.
door at the time, though, did you?
And I did. That was the best advice Mr.
Wow.
I won't say his name ever gave me. But I almost quit art school because of him. And I was actually dating Scott at the time, and he's like, "Don't quit. Don't quit. Is there another teacher in the school that teaches the same class? Switch out teachers." But I was like, "No, I can't switch out. I'll feel like a failure." No, switch out. It's better than quitting. So I did switch out to another teacher, and it was the greatest thing I did because my second teacher for the same course was hands-on. He would sit there and give you a demo and a demo and a demo until you understood what he was trying to teach you. Whereas my other teacher was like, he'd give a demo at the beginning of the month.
Arbitrary.
If you don't take lots of notes because after the first day of that demonstrations that he gives for the entire month, he won't answer any more questions. You're on your own.
Wow.
And I was fresh out of high school, and this was all kinds of concepts. I had no idea what I was doing. I was in school with people who were probably well along in their careers who their employers sent them back to this art school. And I'm like 18, 19 years old, and I'm like a deer in the headlights, and I needed help. I was like a C student, barely keeping up.
Wow.
And stressed out beyond belief. And then, grade day came, and he told me I was wasting my time. So I switched out to another teacher who was very hands-on, and I learned so much from him. And I'm so grateful I didn't quit.
All right. So when you got out of college, your first piece that you really fell in love with, did you send it to that teacher that said you would never make it?
You know what's funny about him is he's still alive.
Oh, you got to send him some articles and all.
No. This is he's still alive, and probably about 5 years ago, I got a friend request from him on Facebook.
Really?
And he's got to be well into his 80s now. And I sat back and I went, "Holy cow!" He obviously doesn't remember who I was, right? He had a lot of students come through. I'm sure I was, and there's a lot of. I've talked to other students of his, and I was not unusual. He was a really tough teacher. Sent me a friend request, and I'm like, ooh. I wrote him back a note and told him, what a piece of
You can
whatever.
say it.
What a Richard he was.
Wait a minute now. I'm offended by that.
I knew you'd like that.
What did he respond back?
And and it was, as an adult, I'm looking back at myself when I'm 18, I can look back at myself. I'm like, you tried to literally crush me. Who the hell do you think you were? And I let him know, and he kind of came back to me with a half-assed apology and about all the pressure he was under, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, nah. But I did accept his friend request. But in retrospect, I mean, he's made a wonderful career as a watercolorist.
Right.
And I look at his art. He's in his 80s now. He's making the same damn paintings he did
back when you were in school.
Yes. Waterfall, the whole babbling brooks. I mean, he's made a living off of doing these kind of idyllic water scenes. And I feel like giving him some critique and say, you know, you haven't grown as an artist one bit. You're still making the same damn painting. Because I like to see how art we change as we develop as artists.
You have to.
If I'm still making the same art I did 20, 30 years ago, but you know what? He found his bread and butter money. Yeah. And he stuck with it. It's a formula that works for him, and he's made a lot of money.
Probably could have made even more if he would have changed with the times.
I don't know, but
and changed his attitude.
Maybe it was just the times too. You know, I think he just was from a different era, and he did look at women as you're just going to get married, and all this education's a waste on you. But I did marry the boy next door. It was good advice.
Send him a link to this episode when it goes out.
Absolutely.
We've been married over 40 years now.
Wait a minute, what?
We've been married over 40 years. So I did marry the boy next door. Sort of.
How can you guys been married over 40 years when you both look like you're in your 40s?
Ha! You're so kind.
I mean, just saying.
So. But I'm approaching 70 in a few weeks.
No, get the hell
Pam's
out
a
of
few
here.
years younger. I spent 35 years in the military. I think that's sort of, you know, having to adhere to those standards of fitness and weight and all that other good stuff. I think that adds to your,
you know. Yeah, but see, I mean...
Actually, Pam has this portrait up in the attic of me.
Oh, yeah.
That gets older. I don't.
Yeah, Dorian
My
Gray.
middle name's Dorian. Dorian Gray. We've always joked about that. But we met when I was a senior in college and Pam was a junior in high school. But I was a very old senior in college because I'd already been in the Army 3 years and got out to go to school. That's when we met.
I still can't believe you're going to be 70.
He's lying. I only believe it when I get out of bed in the morning and I creak.
Sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Real, man, damn. All right, what's the secret to keeping your hair?
In this case, genetics.
It's just
okay, because I definitely, and it's Arctic blonde too.
Isn't it freaking amazing?
Is that what you call it?
That's what I used to call this, but after playing Santa, it doesn't work anymore. Everybody tells me no, it's white. It's white here and flesh on the top. So,
okay.
But no, I always told the kids their hair is great. No, it's Arctic blonde because I used to put blonde. Well, to me, it made more sense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want white hair. Usually, because most people that are blind don't go white; they go gray. I think a lot of your redheads go white.
Okay.
Come on, I only looking at my father, and because he was a redhead, and he definitely went white, and yet a lot of other people I knew that were blondes went gray or platinum.
Yeah, my neighbor across the street went platinum. That's funny. I'm like, what happened? She's platinum.
All right, so for anybody that wants to become an artist, what's the first bit of advice you would give them? I know, find somebody like Scott, right?
No, find some good teachers. And there's a lot of different approaches to art. I'm a traditional kind of representational artist. There's a lot of different kinds of art out there.
Right.
I know the younger generations, a lot of digital art now coming out. So there's no getting around that either.
Yeah.
I like I'm old school. I like brushes and paint.
Well, it's just something about oil paintings. The texture, you can't see that in digital art.
No, and that's another thing about buying original art is that so when I buy a painting, when I'm looking at art, I'm not just looking at the image of the art. I'm looking at the surface of the paintings, and I like to see brushwork and the brush strokes that the artist put down. I even like it when they leave mistakes in the painting. It's like like the painting I bought this weekend. I've been studying it really hard, and I can see where the artist And I'm going to send him a note about the painting. I haven't, I'm going to write him like a note about the painting, what I think the painting's about. But also, I can see where he hesitated and probably stopped the painting. And there's one brushstroke in there where he introduced a color, which I think he second guessed, and he said, "Nope, I'm done."
Wow.
So even the great artists, like, knowing when to stop a painting too.
All right, with oil paintings, and I just thought of this. I've never seen anything like it. It may be a thing, it may not. But because of the texture and the brush strokes and everything, have you ever seen, or is there anybody doing it to where, let's say the theme is the waterfall?
Let's do a waterfall.
But the texture, they're painting almost like little waterfalls in it.
Like there's so much texture built up?
Well, yeah, but yeah. So if you're like where the trees are, you have your brush strokes that are trees, but those brush strokes resemble mini trees to make the big tree. You know what I'm saying? Probably not.
Yeah. Well,
Has it? I mean, you see it with almost like, I want to be 3D art. I don't even know what you would call it.
Well, there's a lot of different mediums to this. And another thing about oil paint is you can make an oil painting look like a watercolor, and you can make it, they have mediums that you can add to your paint.
Yeah.
Like wax medium. You can add to your oil paint that'll really thicken it up so you can get those really thick impasto brush strokes in there.
You can add wax to it?
Yeah, it's a wax medium. So you buy it in the art supply store. You have all kinds of good stuff you can add to the paint to make it change the.
I didn't know that.
Is it the velocity?
I'm hearing this for the first time too.
The viscosity.
All right. Yeah. So what's the strangest thing you've seen people add to the oil paints?
Strangest things?
Yeah. I mean, walnut oil, I would have never thought of, or wax. I mean, wax is for my mustache. I mean,
strange. I don't know.
Or candles.
Wax mediums. You got gel mediums. I use a lot of gel mediums. They have stuff that can help it dry faster. They have mediums to make it dry slower, depending on how you want to work. Some people like their paintings to dry faster.
Wait, you said gel mediums. You mean like the same kind of gel people use for baking?
No, it's an art. You buy it at the art supply store.
Okay.
It's an artist material. So
interesting.
Yeah, they make a gel form of the linseed oil, which really comes in handy when I'm plein air painting. It's one less thing to spill. So I can just squeeze it out and it's a gel form. And it does the same thing as a liquid linseed and thins out the paint, but it's in a gel form.
Interesting.
They make a Galcalide medium. It's a gel form that helps.
You do what?
Galcalide.
Okay.
And it helps dry the paint faster. And I've been using that for plein air painting to help my paintings dry faster, because plein airs are generally done in 2 to 3 hours and you don't go back into them and you want them ready to ship.
Oh.
Whereas a studio painting, and I'm doing a portrait, I'll probably be using a lot of mediums and slow the painting process, the drying process down, so I can go back and make adjustments and move things around.
Can't do that with watercolors, can you?
Watercolors, an entirely different beast. And I bought, so there's another too, there's different surfaces you can buy for oil painting. And
right.
Who is it? They make a oil painting paper now, Arches. Arches is known for their watercolor papers, but now they started making an Arches oil paper, which is primed. It looks like watercolor paper, but it's primed with some kind of whatever they put it in, so you can put oil paint on it. And it acts more like a watercolor, and it's very unforgiving.
Well, because of watercolors, you can't get the texture neither, right? Unless you're painting on a textured surface, I guess.
Watercolors, I'm not, I've tried some watercolor and I get
goosebumps.
I'm not very successful at it. And I've gotten to the point where I'm an old dog and I don't want to learn new tricks.
Well, I mean, I've seen some beautiful watercolor paintings, but it's just with the oil paintings, to me, you can't beat it.
Okay.
I mean, I like you. It's the texture of it, the feel. To me, that makes a big difference, but that's just me. That's why I love, when I'm doing walls, I'd rather have a textured wall than a plain wall. Although, well, never mind. I do that because I hide any flaws if I do the drywall.
Yeah, I had to do that myself.
Yeah, it's like, all right. So before I get to my last question, is there anything that you would like to add besides telling everybody to buy your artwork?
I'm painting for the Maryland Center for the Arts and their Harford County plein-air event, and there'll be a show at the Armory in September. I'm not quite sure the dates. So there's about 30 artists that have come into town. I'm one of them, who are painting scenes all over Harford County over the summer.
Okay.
And all that artwork will be on display at the Armory in September.
Behind the Armory
No, at the Armory. So
what's in September? What? I know there's a book festival, a book fair there in September. Is there an artist fair too?
Maryland Center for the Arts is going to have their exhibition there.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I think it's like 2 or 3 days. I can look on my phone and give you the dates.
That's all right. I'll find it. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I love going there for different things. But anytime there's anything there of artists or authors, which sometimes it's both, I just love going there and meeting them and seeing the stuff.
Seeing what's up there.
Yeah.
I like to see what people are doing. And
yeah.
It's a nice show. So
all right.
This is their 12th year.
So my last question, this is a tricky one. No, it's not. It's easy. Who is your favorite artist? And it cannot be yourself. And why?
Living or dead?
Either or. Both. You know what? Both. 2 favorite artists. 1 living, 1 dead.
Favorite artist. John Singer Sargent for his beautiful portrait work. Fabulous artist. There was nothing that man could not paint.
Okay.
Living artists. God, I have a few favorites. Rose Franzen. She's out of Iowa, and she's the artist that did portraits of Makokata that inspired me to take on portraits of Havre de Grace.
Right.
So I was heavily influenced by Rose, and she's unbelievable. Museum quality.
I thought for sure you were going to say your husband, because I'm sorry, doing that with G.I. Joe's is true art.
I am so blessed.
Pam, Scott, I want to thank you both so much.
Thank you so much, Rich.
The door's all, you have to come on again. Just, man.
You want to talk Joe's?
You want to talk Joe's? I can bring examples of each.
That's just amazing. Oh,
I've already been podcasted by the G.I. Joe community.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, have you guys thought about starting your own together?
Podcast?
Yeah.
Not really.
Thank you for listening to the Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. You know, it takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following: Real Life Prosthetics, cutting edge solutions, restoring ability since 2001. Go to reallifeprosthetics.com. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com.